Good evening. This is Dad's Facebook page. We want to ask him some questions about teenage life, and he has to answer honestly. So, Percy, brace yourself.
Yeah, every time I'm called Percy, I know that things are not going to be as easy. Percy inakuwaga jina ya wakati nataka kukaliwa kiasi, ninaitagwa Percy. So I'm ready for the questions. You can ask them, but I am at liberty to refuse to answer. Okay, not that I'm not honest, but I should be at liberty.
Yeah, you are.
Stop intimidating me. Okay. So let me sorry.
Question number 1. What do you think about teenagers who succumb to adolescence?
What do I think about teenagers who succumb to adolescence? By that, I am thinking that you mean people who succumb maybe to peer pressure of that adolescence life, such that they take drugs, or
drugs,
they engage
dating,
in
tattoos,
early sex, tattoos.
Yeah.
Okay, I think they are trying to get their identity from other people. And which is wrong. You should get your identity from the person you are inside without the influence of anybody else. So as far as I'm concerned, you should be your own person. And you should make your decisions based on your first identity. And in this particular case, for those of us who are Christians, our first identity is Christ. But I'm not assuming that everybody is a Christian, so I must also tell them that their first identity is who they are, as individuals. And because adolescence is so much influenced by many other sources like the media and social media, especially nowadays, I will tell you to go to it knowing that there is influence, both positive and negative, and be careful. So I will say that you should not succumb. Make your own decisions and be light. Be light, but don't fear. Yes, it is a gap. And when you speak about tattoos, Kuria, you know, if you tattoo, you do a tattoo on your body, and then at age 30 you start regretting about that permanent tattoo. What are you going to do with it? So don't make some permanent decisions about a transition, an age where you are transiting. So, and a tattoo might be a permanent decision. And sometimes you are so influenced by the girls and the boys that you want to tattoo the name of your girl on or your boy on your body. And unfortunately, that girl might not be with you, or that boy might not be with you in the next 3-4 years. So don't do permanent things. Don't put marks on your body that you might regret soon. So realize that this is a transition. And in terms of drugs, I would say that the best decision is what I have been telling people: be smart and don't start.
About drugs, some people have grown up seeing their parents taking drugs. Their parents are alcoholics. Their parents are, So, and they are not Christians. So what do you have to say to them?
So their role models in the house are the people who are already taking drugs. Maybe what I need to say to them is that they could evaluate and see the difference between people who take drugs and don't take drugs. And let them be honest about themselves, and they see who has the best life. What time have you seen somebody who doesn't take drugs having maybe foreign in Amtaro? You should even check on your own students in high school. And you realize that people who are taking drugs are most probably in the wrong books in most of the time. So they should make decisions based on their own experience without necessarily copying or mimicking their own parents. Because parents also, and this is not a very healthy statement to say, but parents could also be wrong. I could be wrong when you are right, in terms of lifestyle. So I would tell them, don't necessarily copy your parent if you have seen them in deviant, divergent behavior. Like if they haven't been able to pay fees because they have taken all the money. If they are baggy by pedras or taken bangy, don't copy them. Yeah, even when they are your parents.
On the issue of dating, I saw this meme that you date, you can be stupid. If you're stupid, you're stupid. some people think that it does not affect studies. What do you have to say to them?
Ooh, you know, dating. Dating is something that is emotional, and the emotions will affect your studies, whether you like it or not. Your emotions will affect how you have an outlook on life, and you do not become stupid by not dating. You should know that everything has a season and a time. So your stupidity or intelligence is not measured by dating. And especially young men, I know, yes, unaitwa fara, unaitwa duanzi kama una kamanzi fulani ambapo una, but don't succumb. Don't succumb, my dear son. You are not stupid. You are already intelligent, whether you are dating or not dating. Yes.
What Kush is saying, or what I think I am saying, is dating does not make you stupid. Yeah, not the other way
Dating
around.
does not make you stupid. Is that what you are saying, Korea?
No, it's what I'm saying.
Oh, it's what you are saying.
Okay, it's what I'm saying.
Dating does not make you stupid.
Dating does not make you... Let me finish. Dating does not make you stupid. You won't fail exams just because you dated a boy or you dated a girl.
Okay, you might not be stupid by excellence, but you are stupid in the sense that you have chosen to do the wrong thing at the wrong time. That in itself is a measure of stupidity. So you might not fail exams, all right, but you are already wasting yourself and wasting your energies in the wrong thing at the wrong time. So that in itself, personally, nadhania ni uko na uchenzi kiasi.
So who do you think should date?
Somebody who is ready for dating. I can see John is laughing at me. Somebody who is ready, and ready here means that why do you want to date? And I think you should date properly, as far as I'm concerned, for marriage. So you should ask yourself, at what age do you want to get married? Then have you prepared yourself sufficiently for it? As in, look at the birds of the air. Before they lay eggs, they build a guitar. They build a nest. So only after they haven't put a nest do they lay eggs. So there is a preparation process. So unless you are through with the preparation process, you should not start off dating. That's my take, yes. I can see somebody disagreeing with me, but it's all right.
Okay. So do you think that dating one person is enough experience for marriage?
Yes, because dating does not mean... Marriage is not like work experience, where by doing several jobs you get more experience. In fact, the best marriage is the one that has by experience. If you mean by experience is moving out with many girls, that is not what experience... You don't need that experience for marriage. Yes, and I think I have told you many times that, in fact, if you date one girl, you should be very proud of yourself. If you have only dated one man, you should be very proud of yourself. In fact, that is the measure of intellect. Stupidity is when you go out testing on every girl or testing on every boy. And as I have said, you do not have to take every person that you want to that tells you or you have liked onto a date. No. But the friendship is allowed. But don't date to gain the experience. What kind of experience is that, John? Yeah.
Okay. So at what age do you think one can start dating? Or one should start?
Age. In terms of age, let me say this. Let's ask that question in reverse. Yoko, you want to say something?
To add something.
Yes.
And in age, do you think males and females should start dating at the same age? Or, yeah.
Okay. Whether they should start on the same age or not, I will still answer it the same way. And they say, I want to look at that question from the reverse. I want to take you to 50 years of age and ask you, how old would you want to be in marriage at 50 years of age? And how old would you want your children to be at 50 years of age? So if at 50 you would want your firstborn maybe to be 25 years of age, then you should make sure that you are married at 25 years of age, so that most probably you get your firstborn at 25. So it is, because it incorporates many, many other things. It's not just going out for coffee and dating and eventually getting married. There are other things that must be incorporated. How ready are you to raise a child? How ready are you to support one another emotionally, financially, and there are so many factors that you must consider. It's not just about age, and but then you should make sure that you are emotionally mature, stable, so that you do not get married as a baby. Okay, a baby in the sense that unaona kama wewe ni mtoto. So it's not, yeah, so you should be ready for marriage by the time you are starting to date. That's my opinion.
On the basis of chemistry, after how long do you think that the two people should agree or can agree to marry each other?
The chemistry. Okay, the chemistry means that they are now emotionally connected. Or are you trying to say that they have already now even engaged in sex?
No, they have dated.
Yes.
And I'm asking now, for how long should they have dated to consider marriage?
Okay. Now, as it should not be very long. It should not take a lot of time because of the chemistry you are talking about. You know, there are some bodily hormones that are working on them, so that they do not get tempted and get trapped in the long thing at the long time. I think that you should not, at least maximum, you should not exceed 2 years. That's my take. Yes.
Okay. So, in your opinion, people who have dated for more than 2 years, they might not be fit for
somebody is wasting
marriage.
the other person's time, and in my opinion, somebody could be taking the other person for a ride. Yeah. So it is dangerous to date for a long time. That's my opinion. And you can ask mom for how long I dated her.
Before you asked her for marriage,
yes.
or before?
No, I asked her for marriage immediately. For me, it was my dating was for purposes of marriage. So immediately, I did my homework before I went to her. So I already knew she is the daughter of so and so. I already knew which school she went. When I was going to ask mom out, I already had a lot of information about her. I knew her sisters. I had observed her in the youth. So I knew so many things about her. So I was not going out to try. I was going to tell her, I want you to become my wife.
How is being someone's daughter and the school you went to? How does it affect marriage or dating?
Yes, it affects dating and marriage because you are marrying this one person, but you are entering into a relationship with their family. So me marrying Damaris, I also got into a relationship with her sisters and brothers and mother and father and the clan. So that is why it is important whose daughter that person is. I need to know how stable that family. It gives me some ideas on what kind of engagement and relationships I'm going to get into. Because even though I'm marrying one person, I am getting into that relationship. Why is school important? I want to know how she conducted herself when she was in school. Whether she was the tomboy for every boy. Whether she was taken horizontally by every boy in the school. So I want to know. Yeah, so that's why it's important. Yeah, who was she engaging with? How was she conducting herself in high school? For me, it is important. Yes, and not in high school, even in college, even her workmates. I did even ask her workmates and a few things. Yeah, and don't ask me very sensitive questions.
So what do you think?
Yes.
Of arranged marriages?
By arranged marriages, you mean like the Indian type of marriages where the husband is decided for and the wife is decided for, and then they are brought together and they are married?
Yes.
Okay, prior to what we would call civilization, those marriages worked. I don't think they would work now because it is good for people to already know one another by themselves so that it is their own choice. It is not about the choice you have made for me. So I would highly discourage arranged marriages. Yes.
What do you think is the most important aspect in both dating and marriage?
Trust. The most important aspect is trust. You have to trust the other person, and trust encompasses a lot of other things. And they say that love is blind, and some people think about love in other terms. And I personally think that the most important aspect in dating and marriage is trust. Once trust is broken, at whatever stage, that relationship is broken. So if you no longer trust that person, I think you have a problem already. Yes.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Something out of the topic, eh?
Yes.
Do you think prostitution is justifiable?
Well, prostitution is not justifiable in any way. Prostitution is not justifiable in any way. So it should not be justifiable in any way. Yes.
What about suicide?
Okay, suicide, is a mental. I would say every person commits suicide have an underlying issue, which is most probably mental. So for me, I wouldn't say suicide is justified, but I'm saying that the underlying issues should be addressed so that somebody does not necessarily have to commit suicide. But if somebody commits suicide, then we should not stigmatize them. And if somebody have what we call addictions, they are saying they want to commit suicide, then we should seek to help them. But it's not justifiable. You should not take your own life. Yes.
To our viewers who are still with us, thank you. Stay tuned in.
Okay.
In dating,
Yes.
I'm back to dating.
Yes.
What do you think should be the purpose or the base?
The best for dating.
Yeah, for dating.
I think for me, dating should be for marriage. It is not for going out for coffee. It's not for going out for, for me, dating ought to be for the purposes of marriage.
So dating should not be for fun, for the
It
fun
is
of
not
it.
for fun. No, that is not fun. If it is fun, you go out with friends and you take care of one another, so that at the end of the day, you do not have to pay yourselves. So you can go as ladies. That's fun. You can go as young men. That is fun. It doesn't have to be opposite sex at equal number. So that is not what dating is all about. And even this particular dating should not happen when you are not ready for it, like when you are in school. So you, the three of you are already students. So I don't expect you to start dating at this stage. But that doesn't mean that you don't have a friends from opposite gender who are not supposed to be for dating purposes. Yes.
So what is your advice to those that are dating? Those that are dating for marriage, and for those also who have not found someone to start dating.
Okay, for those that are dating for marriage, make sure that you check for what you need for your marriage. Sit down, evaluate yourself properly, and ask yourself, what are your goals for marriage? And then if you can't see those goals getting achieved through this person, then don't follow into the relationship, and realize that it is better a broken courtship than a broken marriage. For those who are still searching, if that's what you are saying, for those who intend to look for spouses, then my idea would be that sit down before you even go out and ask yourself, why do you want to get married? Why? Answer the why question first, and before you answer the who question. That's what I would say personally. And so, all right, that's my take. Yes,
Now that we're in this digital time,
yes,
contradicting what usually happened, you get that dating is no longer going out and all that stuff. Dating is actually just talking to each other on the phone, not directly.
You mean that, like when I saw you on the phone Yeah, okay.
He means
Yes.
people meet each other online and not face to face, actually.
Okay.
But
That's the long kind of relationships. Don't look for somebody to date online, because online can be very deceptive. You know, I can put photos that are not real. You know that I could put images that are not real. Filters. So yeah, there are filters and makeups and all those kind of things. So don't seek for relationships through online platforms. Yes, look for people that you would know. Still, background you would appreciate.
Still on the basis of technology, do you think that we will approach a time that marriages will be taking place through the media and not in the church or gardens?
Okay, okay. That will not be a marriage, because a marriage eventually is supposed to take a husband and wife to one house and they start staying together.
Weddings.
So, yeah. Okay, it's the wedding, not the marriage. Yeah, for the weddings, yes. It is already happening, yeah. A time is coming when weddings will no longer happen in traditional places, yes.
People say marriages have problems, but according to me,
yes,
or the problems I can think of,
yes,
if I can think, the problems are cheating and money. So what other problems are there?
Different opinions.
Okay, it depends. I didn't get what Kihoto said, but it depends on individuals. But I think that the question of cheating is also, it starts with trust. I already said that part of the challenges with marriage is trust. You know? So the greatest challenge for marriage is trust. If you can no longer trust one another, then issues about money will crop up. Issues about cheating will crop up. Issues about many other things will crop up. So the basis for a good marriage ought to be trust that is based on love. And love overlooks a lot of many other things. Yes. So me and your mother have operated the same bank account for all these years. And even when I have a different account, she knows the PIN. But I don't know her PIN. You can ask her after this. She knows all my PIN.
So,
yes,
what if I trusted you before we got married and you broke it in the...
It is dangerous, and that's why you should do your background checks on the persons you're getting married to. Although people can be hypocritical and hide themselves, but as I said, if you realize somebody is not trustworthy before you marry them, the best thing is to quit that relationship. And you should not kill yourself just because somebody have left you or you have been dumped. Yeah, so you move on. Yes.
What advice do you have for teenagers who are sexting?
I will tell them that sexting is very dangerous because it leads to the actual acts of sex. So sexting in itself is you are working on your emotions wrongly, and it leads you to sin. And I would quote the verse in 1 Corinthians where we say, everything is permissible, but not everything is beneficial. There is a lot of things that we cannot see. Yeah, there is a lot of things that are happening on TV. We have permitted them because now they are coming to our living screens, living rooms. But we do not necessarily check on them. You know that there is so much on this TV, but we do not always take note of them. There is 1010 that comes here. It's not beneficial, but it's permissible. Some people will look at it. Yeah, it might be permissible, but it's not beneficial. It doesn't add any value to anyone. Yes.
Okay, so do you think that
these questions
that one can love
yes
and still cheat?
Okay. Yes, one can love and still cheat, but then that would be fake love. So that would be fake love, because if you love somebody, you would be careful not to hurt them. And by cheating, you are hurting them. It means you are not trustworthy. Yes.
Okay.
But I would also say that shit happens. You have heard me tell you that statement many times. Sometimes shit does happen. So if it happens, we deal with it as it happens.
So my question earlier was, when I think of the problems of marriages, I can only think of cheating and money, and I've thought of another one.
Yes.
Like abuse, in the
Yes.
like a
yes,
man
yes.
abusing
Physical
the wife.
abuse, verbal abuse,
Yes.
sexual abuse.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what other kinds of challenges are there in marriages?
Okay.
Si lazima ushare zako.
Then we could also speak about debt. Debt is a challenge for marriage. If you enter into a debt when you have not disclosed to the other person, and even when you have disclosed, sometimes you enter into a debt to feed your family, living a life that is different from your own level. Then there is also the question of raising children. Raising teenagers like you is not easy. Yeah, so it's also a challenge. There is the question of the challenge of being able to not only there is a challenge with friends, in-laws, relatives. Sometimes it becomes a challenge, the people you live with. So marriages could also have those as challenges, yes. Sources of livelihood, where you get your resources. Disrespect also, because it's not good not to respect one another. Yes. So I am hoping that we are about to bring this to an end, because you have asked so many questions here. So, okay, let John ask. Okay.
So what advice do you have for us
Yes.
as your children and adolescents?
Okay, one of now to you as my own children, I will tell you that make sure that every decision that you make is based on your first identity, which is Christ. So, and you realize that Christ is omnipresent together with you. He is with you wherever you are. So make that decision based on Christ. He already knows you. He already sees you, where you are and exactly what you are doing. So I don't have to watch over you. Make those decisions based on that fact that God is omnipresent and He is watching over you. Realize that the most important thing and factor for you is God. So make decisions based on your fear for God, not your fear for me. And then, if it is for me, then ask, I would want you, rather than fearing me, you should respect me. So that if you would know that this thing would be wrong if I was seeing you, then you don't do it because you respect me, not because you fear me. The third thing I will tell you is that in the event you have any issue that you would want to discuss, feel free to ask me those questions, even those hard questions. I think I have told you many, many times that I can handle the truth. It is lies that I have a challenge with handling. So whatever challenge you may have, even when that challenge is sexual, be willing to speak to me, and I am able to try and answer. I might not have all the answers, but we could look for the answers together. So concentrate on the right things at this time. There is a season and a time for everything under the sun. In this season, in this time, you know that what it's right for you to do. So make sure that your first identity is in Christ. And then I go back to 1 Corinthians 6:12 again. Everything is permissible, but not everything is beneficial. Are we together? So don't do everything just because it is permitted. And you will see a lot of people doing permitted things. Don't do them. They may not necessarily be beneficial. Even eating, you don't eat everything. Yeah, even dating at this time is not for you. And the people will tell you stories about who they are dating and how they are feeling about that dating. But you do not necessarily have to follow them. Dead fish flow with the current. It is fish that is alive that flow against the current. Be fish that is alive.
Thank you for that great advice. So what advice do you have to people who are not from a Christian-based family, who have grown up knowing that maybe God is a myth, or their parents are not Christians, or they are fake Christians? They go to church, but they don't actually follow the rules.
Okay, so if I'm giving advice to people who are secular, I would tell them to respect their own bodies. Their bodies are not experimental laboratories to test on things and check on things. So they should respect their own bodies. They should not mutilate their bodies. They should not just go out. And they should realize that the basis for life, again, is trust.
But
Yes.
they might not be necessarily engaging in sex. They're just,
Okay.
yeah.
Even when they are not engaging in sex, I'm simply telling them to respect themselves. Respect yourself. Respect others. You remember the 3 R's at a D. Respect yourself. Respect others. Take responsibility for your actions and be disciplined. Regardless of which faith you come from. It is a good philosophy for life. Yes. Kehoto.
Same
This
as
is the last question I hope. Okay.
same as faith. Do you think that tribe affects the relationship that could lead up to marriage or dating?
Okay. Yes, it does affect because people who come from different backgrounds will definitely have different ethos, even in terms of tribe. Yes. Why I'm saying that is that even not only tribe, even the people next door here, our neighbors, and our neighbors on the other direction, they have been laced up with different ethos. So definitely it affects whether tribe does affect how your relationship with the other people, because people have what we call belief systems, which are not necessarily the same. Yes.
So I think we've come to the end of the conversation.
Thank you.
Thank you for the replies.
Yes.
And for everyone who participated, Caliban and the others, thank you for your good participation and for following.
Asante.
Have a great night.
Thank you, everybody. You can see how my teens put me under pressure. So we had agreed they are not going to ask sensitive questions, but they still ended up asking me really hard questions. Yeah, so thank you. So you come us to say something? Okay, yeah, okay. Thank you very much. God bless you. Shall we say a prayer? Can you allow me to pray for the viewers? Okay, let's say a prayer. Eternal God, our Father, we thank you and we honor you for creating us wonderfully and fearfully. And we pray that you help us to respect you by conducting ourselves in a way that is worth respect to your holy name. As we relate to one another, help us to seek to bring glory and honor to your holy name. And as we eventually go to sleep, watch over us and keep us safe. It is our prayers of faith and thanksgiving in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen. Thank you very much.